Um, we're going to go ahead and get started. Are we on? Sharon, we good? Okay. My name is Rich Ivanovich, and I'm a local land use attorney. And I apologize for the rain. I hope y'all can hear okay. But if not, the newspaper, Wind News has got me mic'd up. You can get their recording and for anything you might miss. Today we're here for what's called a neighborhood information meeting. I'm sure some of you attended the previous neighborhood information meeting for the first iteration of this project for the Sable Palm Road, Orange Grove. The purpose of the neighborhood information meeting is for us to explain to you the proposed project that we're presenting to the Board of County Commissioners for ultimate approval. The process that we go through is we have a neighborhood information meeting. We already had a neighborhood information meeting for a proposed residential project on this property. There was no formal vote taken by the Board of County Commissioners. The project was continued to look at potential other options related to the Orange Grove. One option was people said there were people who wanted to buy the property and do with it whatever they wanted to do with the property. Another option was Conservation Collier. And the third option was, are there other potential development options on the property other than residential? So we took a pause for that discussion or evaluation. We had a few meetings with environmental groups. Nobody made an offer on the property, as was kind of represented to us at the Board of County Commissioners meeting, so we never received an offer. We did follow through and apply to Conservation Collier. We said we would. My understanding is the appraisals are due back for Conservation Collier early July. In the meantime, we are proposing a golf course to be developed on the property, and I'll take you through the changes that we're proposing through this process. So the purpose of the NIM tonight is to tell you about the alternative option to develop the property, which is to develop it as a golf course. We're doing, I don't know that we're technically required to do another NIM because in my opinion this was a less intense use on the property, but nevertheless we wanted to do a NIM to let the neighbors know what we're proposing to do on the property. Should the offers from Conservation Collier come through lower than we would accept on the property. So we'll see. We don't know what Conservation Collier offer is going to be, but we've had no private sector offers on the property whatsoever. So what we're doing tonight is we're going through the NIM. I will make a brief presentation as to what we're proposing. We'll then open it up to comments from people in the audience or questions from people in the audience. And then we'll wrap it up, and then we'll go and next step will be go to the Collier County Planning Commission. They'll make a recommendation on our revised proposal, and then ultimately we will go back to the Board of County Commissioners for a final decision as to the potential golf course development on the property. With me tonight are some people that are experts on the team that can answer questions that you may have. I have some pinch hitters tonight, so don't write this list down. Alexis Crespo is, Wayne Arnold, who did the presentation last time, has retired. Yesterday was his last day. Alexis Crespo is our new planner. She's in Maine, so she's not here tonight, but she will be with me at the Planning Commission and with me at the Board of County Commissioners. Norm Wilcock is our transportation consultant. He is here tonight. Christina Hall from Terrell Hall is here to address environmental comments. And J.D. DeForge with Blue Shore Engineering is our civil engineer. I'm sure you're all aware of the property. It's the property on the left is a further out view It's roughly 169 acres. It's an orange grove. It has, I don't know if this will show up. There are 2 areas where there's still vegetation on the property. Those were originally identified as preserved areas in the residential. They'll stay preserved areas as part of the proposed golf course. We have Verona Walk over here, and then you have some homes over here, and then you have Hacienda Lakes to the north. And obviously, this on the right is a closer up view of the of the existing citrus grove that's on the property. This is also kind of putting it in context of where we're located. I don't know if this echoing is because of you or because of that. If I move further away, will that be better? Okay. So anyway, see if this works. All right, maybe that's better. It is? Okay. The existing future land use growth management plan designation for the property is rural, agricultural, rural fringe mixed use district, sending lands. What sending lands, back in around 2002, the county divided the county into like 3 areas, or 4 areas. You have the urban area, which is where Verona Walk kind of is the edge of the urban area. Then you have the rural fringe mixed use district, which is kind of between the estates and the rural land stewardship area, which is out further east. And then you have the estates, and then you have the rural land stewardship area. So in about 2002, this area became rural fringe mixed use district, sending lands. Within the rural fringe mixed use district, you have 3 categories. You have receiving lands, neutral lands, and sending lands. So the goal of the sending lands was to have less intensive uses on the property. And that's why we believe going to a golf course is consistent with the sending land designation, and we're going to move forward with that as an option. As far as zoning goes, is we're zoned agricultural, and that's what the current use of the property is. Under the old agricultural zoning category, golf courses were allowed, but they were allowed through a public hearing process, but that process was a conditional use process. We're essentially doing the same thing that was allowed in 2002, but we're going through the rezone process, which has more scrutiny to it through the process we're going through than if we were a conditional use under the old rules. I forgot to introduce Parker Clough. He's in the back. He's with the county. He's, I don't know if, are you the only one here from the county, Parker? Oh, Laura, I don't see you. And Laura DeJean is here. There are 2 reviewers under this process. They're here to listen to the comments from the audience. They're not part of the presentation, so any questions should really be directed to us and not to them. So our proposal is to modify both the future land use map to create the Sable Palm Road Golf Course Subdistrict. What you will see in our proposed language is the only use we're allowed is a golf course with 10 cabins. And those cabins are to serve the members and guests of the club. I don't know if you all are familiar with like Calusa Pines and other golf courses, and like Augusta National. They have cabins for their members that are out of town that come to play, and they stay in those cabins. So those 10 cabins are to serve just the members. So as you can see from what we're asking, we only are asking for one use. We cannot do residential. This can creep into anything but a golf course under our proposed change to the growth management plan. And I'll take you through the zoning document to show you that it mirrors the growth management plan proposal. This is the proposed master plan. You can see We don't have a golf course architect yet. They're expensive, and candidly, my client doesn't want to spend the money to hire and go through all the expense of designing a golf course if it's not going to get approved. So I think that's logical. But the golf course will be an Audubon Gold golf course. Now, Audubon Gold golf courses are permitted on the receiving lands within the Rural Fringe Mixed Use District. And what is an Audubon Gold golf course? It's a golf course that's required to be environmentally sensitive in how it's developed and on how it is maintained. It requires that we use materials that require less water, less fertilizer, and the course is designed to take into consideration the environment around it, which would include critters. So, critters. and other wildlife that will be around this golf course. So it is an environmentally friendly way to develop a golf course. So it's a higher standard than you'll find anywhere else in Collier County as the required minimum standard to develop. So the golf course, it's an open space use, as I said earlier. The areas that still have trees on it are going to be preserved. This is one, and this is another. If you recall, when we went through the residential development, because R2 preserve areas are not contiguous, we have to ask for a deviation from the requirement that they be contiguous. It's physically impossible for these to be contiguous, so that's why we're asking for the deviation to be able to have non-contiguous preserve areas. And the only other deviation we're asking for is the entry road be 50 feet in width instead of 60 feet in width. It's a standard deviation that's granted when the roads are private and not open to the public. So the golf course itself will meet all the rules and regulations of Collier County, but for those two requested deviations. And I already discussed the two deviations, so this slide just talks about the two deviations. The principal uses under the zoning document, as you can see, golf course and related golf facilities. What are the related golf facilities? They're listed under the accessory uses. It's the clubhouse, the putting greens, driving range, all those uses that are related to a golf course. And then we also added the 10 cabins, which I have already discussed. So you will see that both the growth management plan designation and the zoning document limit us to a golf course use if this is approved. The development standards really only apply to the cabin and the clubhouse. Our maximum height for the clubhouse and cabins is 35 feet. That's the typical residential height allowed in Collier County. That's the zone height. And we go to an actual height of 45 feet that usually covers elevator shafts and things like that usually poke above the roof. So the tippy top height is 45 feet. 35 feet is midpoint of the roof, that's the zone height. So these are all the detailed restrictions on the golf course that I mentioned. The limitation on uses of fertilizer, limitations on use of pesticides, the requirement to use plants that are need to use less water. So these are all the detailed standards that are going to apply to the development of the golf course to assure that it's environmentally friendly and fits in with the surrounding community. So far, we haven't received any comments from staff yet. I anticipate we'll have those shortly. We resubmitted the documents to staff a week or so ago. We don't have formal dates yet for the Planning Commission And we don't have formal dates yet for the BCC. I think we have some tentative dates though, Shannon, don't we? Okay, I thought we did. I thought we had a tentative date. I thought we had a tentative date for the Planning Commission in August and a tentative date for the Board of County Commissioners in September. But I'll go back and look at my calendar. With that, that's the overview of what we're proposing to do. As part of the neighborhood information process, we record this. So if you've got a comment or a question you'd like to ask, I would ask that you come up to this microphone here so we can catch everything. You have one person on call? Well, let's take care of people here first, and then anybody who's online, we'll get to them next. So if you'll come up, the Planning Commission likes to know who you are and where you live, so they can put in relations your comments. You're not obligated to do that, but they do like that when you do that. And with that, that's the overview of what we're requesting. And, come on up if you have questions or comments.
If I turn this around?
No, you're. Is that what you're doing?
No. Do we have to do something to it?
I don't know.
Who knows something about this mic?
I don't know, but we gotta do something here. I gotta get this stuff. It's good stuff.
Okay, you can hear me. My name is Mary Randall. I live in Verona Walk. My question is I understand that the road going into it will be a private road. So my question is, as a resident of Verona Walk, will I have any access at all to this private golf club and to any other, in the cabins? I understand the cabins are for the staff, but will I personally have any access to this area?
Well, if you join the club, you will have all the access to the golf course and that road that you want. But otherwise, the general public does not have access to the property or the cabins. If the cabins are not for staff, the cabins are for the members. So when members travel in, they'll be able to stay there instead of staying in a hotel if they don't already have a residence in Howard County.
Allie Delventhal. I also live in Verona Walk, and my question is, it seems weird not to talk to you, but
You should. I don't know why you should turn that around, but
my question is, to have this designation for the golf course, is there any possibility in the future that if the golf course doesn't work out, that then the redistricting that you get to build a golf course would then enable a more dense community, a more densely built community?
no. This is the only use we can have. We have to go through this entire process again. It would not be able to use the golf course as a basis to build a residential.
And then when you said we wouldn't have access, that road goes back and becomes, we could still go down that road. correct?
Sable Palm Road will stay Sable Palm Road. It's the entrance road itself to the community. The golf course, that would be the proper road. I still have my wish that I would have won the first time.
Most of my questions are, I'm Nancy Miguel from Verona Walk. I'm Nancy Miguel from Verona Walk. Hey, Verona Walk. I think you kind of answered this, but I go down Collier Boulevard a lot, and it's insane with the traffic. Now, what is the access to this golf course? Does it involve Collier Boulevard?
Well, obviously, you're going to have to drive to Collier Boulevard to get to Sable Palm Road. Once you get to Sable Palm Road, that will be your access.
And then you're gonna have to come out.
You're going to have to come out. And I believe, and I finally have it in one of the slides, the peak hour trip to calculation, I think it's 57 PM peak hour trips. I don't have it on, am I right, Mark? Is it 57? 60. It's 60 trips in the peak hour, which is far less than was originally proposed as part of the residential development.
Okay. And then, speaking to what this other woman said, it's probably out of my price range. I'm not gonna be able to join this. So here goes another golf course that I can't afford, I can't access. What do we care? Why do we want this? We don't.
That's
So,
certainly your opinion.
it's my opinion, yes, yes. But thank you, because you did a good job with that.
Yeah.
Hey, Rich. Hey, we know the game here. First, it's recreational use, like a golf course. Then we're told it's not financially viable. Then the push comes for more homes, more density, and more intensity. Whether that's not intent or not, people have seen this before and they're paying attention. Under Florida's redevelopment law framework, once recreational land goes inactive, it can create a pathway for future redevelopment. And that's why this isn't just about this application, it's about what gets justified later. If this is approved, it doesn't end the discussion. It starts the line at the door. Every agricultural and setting land owner in the rural fringe will ask, hey, what's for me? I need a deal too. We also have to look at public safety. Increasing intensity of these fringe areas increases wildlife exposure and wildfire exposure, and puts more people in harm's way in the place that often have limited evacuation options. And no buffer or wall changes that reality. It doesn't stop smoke, it doesn't stop embers, and it doesn't guarantee safe evacuation when the roads are already congested. This is what I gotta say. You're probably gonna scrap the golf course and put a pickleball court there. This is my the way I think. You know, I go, nobody wants a golf course anymore. They cost you, yeah. Those golf courses, they're like old time now. It's like rock and roll music, you know, it was really big at one time, now it's not, so. But, go ahead. Thank you.
Well, first of all, golf courses very popular. The waiting lists at all of these clubs are long. There's no question that this is financially feasible, and there's a market for this golf course. You can shake your head no. I can go around, you go figure out what the waiting list is to get in these courses or what it costs to join these courses. This will not lead to a residential community. And this will not have a lot of people in harm's way. Most of these golf courses, especially in the summertime, have very little play from the neighbors. So during the fire season and all that, we'll be fine. There will not be, there'll be plenty of fire break because of the fairways. There's going to be a lot of fire break between any clubhouse and any potential wildfire related to what's going on around. Far different than the proposed residential development. And it's far less traffic impactful, and it's far less impactful on the environment. Go out to courses like Old Florida, and you will see all the wildlife utilizing that golf course while the golfers are actually on that golf course as well. So golf courses are in fact very environmentally friendly, and they are all very, very popular. Go call and ask what it would cost to join all these other clubs, and how many years you gotta wait to get in. So we're confident that the market is there.
Yeah, those hogs are gonna tear it up. The hogs out there will tear it all up.
We'll worry about that when we develop the golf course.
Jeannie Condor, Verona Walk. I understand that we are awaiting an environmental study, yes?
We have already done the environmental study.
Is there not another one coming from Conservation Collier?
Their environmental study is related to potential, it's a phase one environmental audit dealing with, are there any spills related to the chemicals utilized in maintaining the grove? We've already provided the environmental study that we had done, to the county for them to look at. The property is in good shape.
A previous environmental study that the county had done showed evidence of the rare Florida panther, the bears, the deer, of course, some of the birds and reptiles, and somehow it didn't quite reach the criterion of significance to be a threat to them. Do you truly believe that this development of a golf course is not a threat to our endangered species such as the panthers?
Yes, we truly believe that.
Okay.
Frankly, I think it probably helped. It's an open area for them to roam at night and hunt for the wildlife that will be around. Better than growth.
Do you propose any changes or improvements to Sable Palm Road itself?
At this point, we don't envision having to make any upgrades due to the minimal traffic that will be coming to the golf course.
Even when those brush fires come up so quickly?
We're not anticipating the need to improve Sable Palm Road based upon our minimal traffic.
Okay, my last question is about water usage. Golf courses are noted for extreme water usage. And in that area, there is both flooding and drought. And how do you propose that this golf course will affect that?
Well, and I can have Christina come up here, but generally, the existing water use for the grove and other agricultural uses are far more intense than what will be required for the golf course, especially since we have to meet the Audubon Gold standards that are going to require us to use turf that requires less water, less fertilizer, less pesticides. And so we anticipate that the water usage will be equal to or less than what's already occurring today.
When we use water in all of our communities, we use a particular aquifer. When we go deeper, we have found salt intrusion from those aquifers. So you don't think that the golf course use of water will have an effect on our aquifer, that all the construction and all the new development and established developments use?
Not more than what's already occurring through the Marsh Grove.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Asling. I live on Brandy Lane. I'm sorry, is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear you, but I wasn't sure if everybody else did.
Hi, everybody. So I live on Brandy Lane. I've lived there 32 years. I know people from the Orange Grove, and I've got a couple questions. So my first one, if this is so wonderful and financially done, how many people can stay in your cabins for how long? And what is the total size?
The cabins,
The cabins that you're mentioning that you
the cabins will probably be the typical size of a house.
so 3 bedrooms,
It
no
could
more
be
than
3 or
bedrooms.
4 bedrooms. We haven't designed them yet.
Then how do you have any prospect on the amount of traffic that will go down the road that you at your last meeting with the commissioners complained about the condition of Sable Palm?
We can complain about it. We were willing to upgrade the road to address
Okay,
the
so
homes.
I guess that's my follow-up question of that. If that's the case, then developing this area is so much a benefit for the community, where is that? Where is the benefit to the community? So you mentioned the fires not having a problem. You are not a resident there, sir. I'm sorry to say, but the Orange Grove people are not a resident there. They don't live on the property. The last fire that happened behind Hacienda, my house was threatened, and we were told that we had to leave because there were too many people in Hacienda, and now you're telling me another development wouldn't change that. And that was from Collier County Fire Department. So my second question is, if you're not gonna do anything to increase down there, your 10-foot wall that was your bonus for your development that you keep drooling over up here, where is that for the rest of us? The other part of it is the critters that you mentioned, we all purchased out there to live with them. As owners of the property, you were given a compensation of 35 to 42 houses. That wasn't good enough. You have 5 owners. There's also been purchases in the neighborhood by the owners of other houses. So where does this end? Is it gonna connect to Hacienda? Is it gonna connect to Hacienda? How many more developments are gonna go beyond the 10 cabins that you're mentioning? Because it's not your livelihood that you're being priced out of, it's mine. So it's 4 generations of my family and 6 generations past me that can't live on this land if you price us out, because it's good for people who don't live there.
Well, first of all, there are no homes that people can permanently live in as part of this project.
For now.
Forever. That's what's the proposal.
That's the proposal for now. You're gonna tell me Augustus doesn't have people that live around. All of your parks that are, Tiburon doesn't have people that live around.
That's not, we're not asking you to run, we're asking.
But you're asking to come into a residential industry that is 5 acres of people, sir.
Well, let me answer your questions.
Please go.
First of all, when they bought the property,
Mm-hmm.
they had the right to do a golf course. That changed in 2002.
When
They
they had
also
the option to
implemented-
come here with Hacienda, and
No,
as you,
Ma'am, please let me answer
I'm
your
so
question.
sorry.
First of all, they were never given the option to be part of Hacienda.
No, they were given the option to
Ma'am,
protest
ma'am.
the saving lands, and he
They
said,
weren't, they didn't even know it was
I'm
happening
so
to them.
sorry, sir, but I'm their neighbor, we helped pay their lands. He said in your 7-hour meeting that they didn't have the time, the son-in-law said they didn't have the time to respond to you because they were making too much money.
First of all, that was never said on the record. What they said was they didn't know what was happening to them in 2002 because there was no.
There were
no.
no findings for
Ma'am, I'm gonna talk.
2002.
Ma'am, will you please go sit down and answer
Absolutely.
questions?
Absolutely.
Now, when they bought their property, they had certain rights, including the right to do 35 houses as a matter of right, and to do a golf course. All that was taken away from them. So now they do 4 houses. 4 houses on that property. That does not seem to be fair. Ma'am? Well, first of all, we have property owners and they have rights. All they're asking is for another use on the property that is less intensive and is environmentally friendly on the property. You don't have to like it, you say your piece. Much of what you said is not factually correct. I will deal with that in another location, and another time, should you want to get into that on the public record. Ma'am, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I'm going to talk to whoever else wants to ask questions.
Hi, Rich. I'm Gwen Ranson. I live in Verona Walk.
Can you bring some up?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Rich. My name is Gwen Ranson. I live in Verona Walk. My house is right on the other side of Sable Pond. There is no need or demand for a golf course on Sable Pond Road. Sable Pond is a 2-lane street that is not conducive to handle traffic. The project will increase pollution, noise levels, disruption of our quiet, safe neighborhoods, and wildlife. Once the land is rezoned, there is no turning back. These are all negative effects. There are 55, I did research and I searched every address. So what I found so far, there are 55 golf courses in Naples and 25 of them are private. Just leave it. Keep it as farmland. Everything is being built up. I live here, I've been here for 11 years. It was so nice and quaint. Every time you turn around, it's just common sense. If you drive down the street, all you see is development. All that land that's up for sale, they can turn to anything. This is special land. This is agricultural land. So it's precious, and there's not much of it left in Naples. I'm begging you to leave it alone. Turn it into a farm, plants, vegetables, trees. Lucrative businesses can be turned into this with this land, but we don't need a golf club. And what, a restaurant's gonna be there? Will that be open to the public?
No, nothing's open to the public. It's a private golf course. Whenever food service we provide as part of the golf course is open to the members only. It's a members only golf course. No public access to the restaurant, to the golf course, unless you want to join.
Okay, well, thank you for answering my question, but I don't see a demand or a need for a golf course. There's 55.
Can you get that okay?
Take it out.
Corin Wager, Naples Manor. Golf courses use pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides to maintain the turf and control pests. Some specific chemicals include 2,5,4-D, chlorpyrifos, and paraquat, which have been linked to Parkinson's disease, and pesticide-related cancers such as non-Hodgkin's lymphoma leukemia, and bladder cancer. The Journal of American Medical Association demonstrated that there is a 126% increase risk of developing these neurodegenerative conditions with individuals who reside within 1 mile of a golf course. Golf courses can negatively impact the environment and wildlife through the groundwater pollution from fertilizers, herbicides, insecticides, and pesticides. This damages natural habitats. Developing every inch of green space and damaging the environment is not being good stewards of the land. We love our land and we want to preserve it for the future generations to come.
Any other questions, comments before we go online?
Yeah. Fred Miller, I'm also a resident of Roanoke for our court. Seems like a lot of you are here from that surrounding area. I've lived here about 11 years, lived in South Florida for about 19 years. Made my first trip to Florida to visit my grandmother when I was about 4 years old, a few years back. And I agree with someone said something about preserving what was Florida. Orange groves were a very big part of what I experienced as a child coming to South Florida. In reading the little blurb in the local paper, they mentioned that it's not a viable thing now to have a citrus industry in Florida because of a breeding disease. I'm not up on all of that, but seems to me it wouldn't hurt to preserve a little bit of the old Florida for future generations rather than making it another playground for people who can afford it. It's one thing to have a playground that everyone can afford and enjoy, especially the people who live here year-round, not the people that fly in for a short visit and let's have a good time and then let's get out of here when it heats up and the hurricanes blow in and mosquitoes get back. The rest of us are left to live with all of that all the time we're here. I'm just wondering if I could ask how many people are here because you don't want to see this area developed. I thought this question was already asked and decided several months ago. It seems like yesterday, and then I hear, wait, we're doing this again. That's just.
Actually, that's not what happened. What happened was the commissioner said no to residential. They asked us to go to look at other less intensive uses on the property. And that's what we've done.
So I guess my question is, when is enough with this type of development?
My name is Bob. I live in Aurora Walk. Minor more of a civil engineering than it. When you build a golf course, will the drainage continue to the east into the Everglades? Obviously, it's going to change the topography of the property. Second question is, you'll have internal sewage, gray water. How will that gray water be dumped into the Everglades? Third question is, will you assure us that there will be no drainage reverse towards Verona Walk or any in that area, or to the east or the west? I'm sorry, to the west.
To the west, right?
Yeah, I'd like to see the trip continue to vary towards the great Everglades. Fourth item is, Sable Palms Road is an agricultural road. You're obviously going to have to do something with the road, not you, but the county's going to have to pick up the bill on that. Pave it, put adequate drainage and that sort of thing in there. Yeah, four questions, please.
Well, on the road issue, the county's maintenance ends basically where your property is going to walk. There's no maintenance, county maintenance to the east by us. So if there are any improvements that need to be made to that road, that will be at our expense, not the taxpayers' expense.
Is that the state road property?
It Where the end of, there's a sign that says down in county maintenance, that's not gonna change. That's where the end of county maintenance is gonna be. I'm gonna ask JB, who's the civil engineer, to answer your other questions as to where's the drainage going. I know the answers, but.
So, my name's J.D. DeForge. I'm with Blue Shore Engineering. I'm a licensed civil engineer in the state of Florida. To your question about drainage, when we design the golf course, we're going to design a surface water management plan for the golf course. We're required by the South Florida Water Management District to take the water from the site and discharge it based on the allowable rates in the area into the preserve area south and east of the property today. There's also an existing culvert pipe that connects the Hacienda Preserve on the north side of Sable Palm Road, and it goes through the property currently. We're required to continue that existing drainage pattern with the design of the golf course.
What about drainage to the Verona Rock area? That will not happen, right? Everything will go to the Everglades, more or less.
Correct, yes.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Anybody else? Mr. Come on up. Come on up, man. Why don't you can line up behind each other if it's easier.
Good evening. My name is Bobby Blum. I live in Verona Walk. I don't know you personally, but I got to give you credit. Every time I go to a planning commission or a county commission meeting for development, you're there. You mentioned earlier tentative dates you weren't about for the planning commission and also the county commissioners.
Yes.
I have it as August 6th and September 22nd. For the people out here to know too, that's tentative, but
Right.
that's the dates I was told.
And I gave those dates to somebody because they're on my calendar, so I know I have them on my calendar.
You mentioned earlier, golf course if approved, gold certified.
Audubon.
Audubon? Who's that?
Audubon, the Audubon Society?
It's not the Audubon Society. It's Audubon International.
Okay.
It's two different things.
Okay. Audubon International is an environmental standard for golf courses.
Who funds Audubon International?
I have no idea.
The golf course industry does. You mentioned also, and it bothered me, that we're not going to, the proposed golf course will not use any more water than the Citrus Grove did. But if there was no golf course, there'd be no more water being used, right?
Well, I'm sure if we converted it to some other agricultural use, a lot of water would be used for that agricultural use.
Okay, I mean, I also have a concern about insecticides and pesticides. I know the Citrus Grove used that, but having a golf course just compounds that issue, doesn't it?
No. It's going to be, it's highly regulated as part of this approval process. So, and JD's water management system is going to take whatever is generated from that and it will be cleaned up before it's dispersed into the Everglades. Which is not right now.
I want you to know one thing. I don't think anyone in here believes that there wouldn't be some kind of change or proposed amendment to have more like residential things on that property or some kind of housing. And I know you said it's impossible, but I don't think anybody believes that. But thank you for your time.
Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Thal. I'm also a resident of Verona Walk. I live on Rosini Lane, where my house actually faces Sable Palm Road. You're talking about 10 cabins and a member-only golf club. I'm wondering, is there a cap on the membership? How many members do you expect to get in the club? And then with the cabins, how many people will be staying on site on a daily basis? Some people were concerned about the increase in traffic. I'm just trying to figure out, people-wise, how many people you're trying to figure out.
Well, first of all, we don't know how many people stay in cabs right now. We haven't yet to survey our membership. We're leaving that as an option as part of the development. If they're staying in the cabins, they obviously don't have to drive to and from the golf course. So there'll actually be less trips by members staying on the golf course than commuting to the golf course and not utilizing. As far as the maximum number of members, we have not determined that yet. That will be all part of the design that we do with our golf course architect and with our golf course consultant as to the number of members. Golf courses like this typically don't even have tee times because they limit the membership to a number that people can just show up and go play. So that's the current thought process for what this golf course will be like. But I can't tell you in the 10 cabins whether there'll be 20 people or 40 people. I don't know that number. But those will be people that will not have to drive to and from the golf course because they'll be staying there.
Okay, but you don't know, there's no cap on the membership, you don't anticipate, because you have to have a business plan, right? You gotta say, well, I need 300 members, 200 to make it viable.
We have done that analysis. We have yet to find out what is the maximum number. I can tell you we have a range, but the minute I tell you the range, it may change. But we do have a proposed range similar to the other higher end golf courses in Carter County.
Which is, you don't want to divulge that?
Well, I don't want it to be now all of a sudden kind of going to put in this PUD rezone, the number is, the maximum number of X.
Okay.
So,
All right, thank you.
My name is Lisa Johnson. I live off Logan. I've been in Naples long enough that there was nothing between 75 and 41. It was all alligators and no golf courses, no communities, no Verona Buck, no everything, when Naples was really nice. My question is, you said there were going to be 3-bedroom cabins. 3-bedroom homes in Naples are a lot different than 3-bedroom homes in Tampa, in Lakeland. 3-bedroom, what's the maximum size of those 10 units? Square foot?
I don't know.
I mean, 3 bedrooms could be 2,000, 4,000, 3,000 square
First of all,
foot.
I didn't give you an actual number of bedrooms. I said I don't know how many bedrooms are going to be.
But you've got to know, you have to have an estimate of how big the house is going to be.
We haven't designed the cabins yet. I don't know. I don't. If I knew, I would tell you.
Okay. What's the joining fee for these? Are we 250,000 like the ones in Pelican Bay?
That's not part of what the zoning criteria is. We will evaluate, we are evaluating that as you speak as to what the market will bear for the membership of this course.
Okay. Then when the wild hogs start digging up the golf course, and the people are driving their Mercedes and their Lamborghinis and their Ferraris, first of all, Sable Palm, I've been there. I go to the orange grove to pick up oranges. They're not going to drive their Lamborghinis and their Mercedes and their everything down this road. It goes like this. So I believe you, as the developer, or who, I'm not sure where you actually fit in this, but
I'm just avoiding.
that it will be, you'll have to build a new road.
And if we feel that we need to improve the road from where the county ends to our entrance to attract members, that will happen on our expense.
But, okay, going back to the wild hogs, when the wild hogs start digging it up, like they're digging up the communities out off Oil Well, I hear, and the members are mad, and we're taking their land. Are you guys just gonna shoot them? Are you guys gonna relocate them? They're wild hogs, and they do a mess to the property.
they'll have to address that situation soon.
Good evening. My name is Marie Proshek. I'm from Verona.
You should probably say, is that not from Verona?
Yeah, everyone's from Verona. Well, we have reason to be concerned. In any of your pretty maps, do you have the actual elevation of this proposed golf course, which to me doesn't sound like it's proposed anymore. It sounds like it's pretty well done. Do you have any elevation information? Because, of course, at Verona Walk, the people who live closest have good reason to be concerned about the runoff, the water runoff. I understand you have the engineer talking about the culvert and it's going to empty into the Picayune. The communities next to us have major flooding problems, and they want to come to us to help them. And I think Verona Walk said, your builder, your problem, handle it. So before this goes all that much farther, are you able to give us information about the elevation of this?
I can tell you what the design requirements will be, and JD, correct me if I'm wrong. And they were the same design requirements for Verona Walk. You essentially build a berm around your property to keep your water on your property. You can't spill onto your property, you can't spill onto anybody else's property, just like your project. Build a berm, you collect your water, you discharge your water. You discharge your water at the discharge point at an allowed rate. We will have those same requirements on us when we design the golf course. I said earlier on, we have not designed a golf course yet. That's many hundreds of thousands of dollars to do, and the developer is not going to spend that money. We're not going to get the required 4 votes from the Board of County Commissioners.
We can only hope. My other question is, in the beginning of your presentation, you said they didn't get any other offers.
They didn't.
But you also said in a few sentences later that the appraisals are not in yet.
What I said was, if you were at the meeting where we continued, there were people who got up and said they had people who were interested in buying the property. And we had a meeting with those people who said they had people who were interested in buying that property. Today, I've received 0 offers from those people they had interested in buying the property. 0 offers.
How would they have any interest if they didn't have any appraisal? They had no idea what they were bidding on.
Well, of course, they could get their own appraisal. They didn't. We were requested to submit the property to Conservation College. We have submitted the property to Conservation College. If you remember the discussion that occurred at the Board of County Commissioners, the Board of County Commissioners says this property does not meet the Conservation College criteria. Nevertheless, they went and are getting appraisals. Those are the appraisals I'm referring to as that will be available, I'm told, in early July. Conservation College will then take those appraisals and make an offer. But we've not gotten a single offer from anybody who represented to us and the public. We're ready to make an offer to acquire the property.
Okay, my last question is that area that the golf course will be on, is that in the flood zone? And will you be required to have flood insurance?
I don't know the answer to the question about flood insurance on the clubhouse, but I'm sure we will obviously design the golf course and build the clubhouse at the required minimum flood elevation.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello, good afternoon. I'm Lonnie Alton, resident of Naples. I'm curious, does anybody know that the property is actually for sale? Is it advertised anywhere? Is it on the public? Is it on MLS? Like, how can you get offers if nobody knows it's actually for sale?
Well, first of all, the property is under contract.
Yes, it's a private sale though.
And all property usually is sold by a private sale. There have been, we said to the people who are at the table, bring us your offer and we will consider it.
Right.
So we have said that if you want to make an offer, make an offer.
Right, but
We said that at the planning and the Board of County Commissioners meeting today, nobody's made an offer.
Right, which is limited to only the people who've been at the meetings that know it's for sale. So what about like the rest of the country, the world? Nobody knows that there's 169 acres for sale, so you're limiting your audience. Nobody knows it is available. So you're not really trying to get more buyers because you don't want any offers.
Well, I don't think that's the case.
Well-
I'm sure my client who has it under contract.
Where is it advertised?
Well, it's not our responsibility. We were at the meeting and we were told by environmental groups that they knew about this property and they had ready, willing, and able buyers. Nobody showed up. My client already has the property under contract. If you want to make an offer, make an offer. It's not our obligation to put this property on MLS and say, bring us an offer. We did what we were asked. Take the time out, listen to offers that never came, and just submit to county conservation file. We did what we were asked to do.
Yes,
And
you
to
did.
come back with a less intense use on the property.
Yes, you
We did.
definitely did your job, yes. Unfortunately, the landowners didn't present their property to everybody else for sale. So nobody really knows that it's for sale, and that's why the offers you're getting are zero.
I think that this has been in the paper quite a bit.
Well, yeah, everybody here knows, I
I
mean,
think, well, if you read the paper in Carter County, you know about it. If you're involved in any of the environmental groups that said they had people willing, which is thousands of people, there's plenty of knowledge out there that this property was available for an offer to be made. I think we've been responsible.
okay, all right.
Anybody else? You still have generation.
Hi, my name is Ashley out of Morgan Road off of Sable Pond. So my question is that when you guys were going to put the housing in, you talked about water drainage down Sable Pond and because it floods down Sable Pond. And so I was wondering, are you going to extend drainage onto Sable like you proposed on the other? No.
We're not going to put in all those culverts we talked about as part of the rest of the
Okay. My other question is, because you're putting in 10 houses, we call them cabins, houses, are there gonna be fire hydrants brought down Sable Pond? Because the only fire hydrant is down by Tamarindo now.
Right now, we will have our own water system as part of the proposed project. We don't anticipate extending county water or sewer to us.
Michael Hamill, Esteban. I looked at the slide as far as the buildings that were allowed on there. Is there room for a private landing strip?
No. That would be great if we could, but no, we don't have 169 acres, so we can't do that. Any more questions? Because I think we have one person on Teams.
Thank you for your presentation. My name is Jim McNelsey. My wife and I live in Verona Rock as well. Just a couple questions. I'm assuming there's not going to be any night golfing.
No.
You know, we talked about.
It will not be a light golf.
Okay. Good. Okay. So under the provision of recreational accessory uses, you're talking about the clubhouse, a putting green cabin, maybe a driving range, that type of thing.
Yeah, your typical golf. We're not going to have a swimming pool.
Those amenities. Yeah.
We're not. It's not a country club. It's a golf club.
Okay, so I imagine under the drainage plan that your engineer was talking about, there are going to be maybe a series of retention ponds.
I'm sure we'll have some lakes on the golf course too.
It's not all going to drain, right? It will be some retained under retention ponds.
Jamie, if you can answer that.
So, as part of the water management district permit that we get, we create a perimeter berm over the entire perimeter of the property. And we're supposed to deal with all the water that goes onto the property. And usually that's with a golf course, it's lakes, retention areas, that collects the water first before it ultimately discharges off the site.
So this really wouldn't change the elevation and the flood zoning process that FEMA identified with us. I don't know if you recall, but a couple of years ago, FEMA all of a sudden made a decision that the Verona Walk was in a flood zone. And we're 10 feet above elevation, I think at this point, 9 or 10 feet. So is there going to be like an impact study determining whether or not that's going to change the flood zone? Because that's a big concern for all of the people around there, because those rates are high. And it's hard as hell to get out of the flood zone in terms of working with FEMA. But we did it. They reversed their opinion. And it was because of the residents of Verona Walk getting together and having that change. So that's a big issue. Drainage, retention ponds, how you retain the water and how you release the water. I mean, I'm not an engineer, but being in Florida, you gotta appreciate water management.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Citrus Grove today, it has a perimeter berm and rim ditches, and then they let the water go into the Hacienda Preserve right now. So when we design our water management system, we're required to do less discharge than what's currently being discharged today. And then we're gonna create enough storage to detain that water, and then we let it go very slowly.
So it gets released.
Very slowly.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you very much. I have 2 quick questions for you. Under the Hacienda Lakes Conservation, that area of land between Verona Walk and your proposed golf course, is that publicly owned? Is that owned by the county?
I don't believe it's owned by the county, but I think they may be the beneficiary, if you will, of the easement. I think the land is still owned by either the Hacienda Lakes CDD. I don't know, but I don't believe it was, I don't think it was conveyed simple to the county. I just think the county wants to.
Because that really is protected
That
land.
will change, because the county is probably the grantee of the easement.
Okay. And then final question, the 169 acres that you've identified here, is that 100% of the owner's acreage, or does he have other acreage that he's looking to sell?
I'm not aware of any other acreage that the owners of the farm have. I don't know the answer to that.
That's his total plot as far as.
That's all I know of right now, but I'll have to ask if they own anything, the other smaller pieces around there. I just want to.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Karen Burrell, and I live in Lely Golf Estates, far from here, but not too far. We are on Hibiscus Golf Course, which was a public golf course, is now private. And my question is, are the owners of SWJR Naples LLC also some of the owners of the Lantern Golf Course?
They are not.
Okay. Is SWJR Naples LLC, they are the applicant, they're not the owner yet of Sable Palms?
They don't own the grove.
Okay. But they have no connection with the Lantern Golf Course?
Correct.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
Anybody else? Sharon, do we have anybody on? Please. Amy, go ahead and unmute. Amy? Who else you have?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, first of all, can you all talk louder because all of us online are not able to hear what's going on, so we would appreciate that. My first question is, what's the definition of a cottage? because of what you have said in your past speaking, then I live in a cottage in Verona Walk. Also, is there going to be, once you get approval for 10 cottages, is it going to be 20? Is it going to be 30? Is it going to be 40? And the other thing is, how long are these people going to stay in this cottage?
Well, the cottage is going to look like a home. So it could have separate bedrooms for the members to come and stay. But it will look like a home, but it will be open to members to stay on a temporary basis. They will not be allowed to live there. Like I said, I don't know if they're going to be 3, 4, 5 bedrooms. I'm not sure, but they will be what the members request or require. We're only asking for 10. We can't get more than 10 without going through the process to amend the growth management plan and amend the rezone. So we've asked for 10, and we're going to stick with 10.
Why did you call them cottages?
Because that is what golf
I have
course.
a 3-bedroom home, so then mine would be called a cottage, not a home.
That's the nomenclature that is used for these types of golf courses. They refer to them cottages, cabins. If you want me to call them transient homes, but they will look like a home, but in these types of golf courses, they're referred to as cabins and cottages.
So how long will they be able to stay in this cottage?
Ma'am, I don't know that I know the answer to that. Most of these communities or these golf courses have maybe a week or 2, but I don't know. I don't know what it will be.
Is there going to be a limit on how long they can stay?
We haven't decided that yet.
Okay. Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah, I'm on the same line with my wife, and we're Verona Walk residents, and my question has to do, again, with the cottages. That's not an argument. It's just, will they be convertible to condos?
No.
Will they be added to in the future?
No.
This is what we ran into with the other presentation, that we started off with any number of 100 homes, and then they started, wheeling and dealing with affordable housing, and it went out of control. So is it 10 and that's it, or is it 10 with an addition of 10 every year for the next 5 years?
It's 10. That is it. 10. It's 10. That's all I asked for is 10. That's what's in the document. It's 10.
Okay, our house abuts Sable Pond. And there's concern all the time about the brush fires that happen in the Picayune. We lived in Verona Walk years ago when Verona Walk was going to have to be evacuated because of this. So that's a big concern of ours also.
Okay. Who? Paul?
Can I talk now? This is Karen Hurley.
Sure, Karen, and then Paul.
Okay, thank you. I've lived in Verona Walk for 14 years, and when we first moved here, when I left Verona Walk, I could drive 5 miles to I-75 and not see another car. The sprawl, the urban sprawl that's happened in our area of Naples it has just become frankly unmanageable, dangerous, especially with the number of cars on the road. We've had residents of Verona Walk killed when they leave the property. It's just become too much. And one of the things that I find frightening about your proposal is that there's still a lot of questions that are not answered. So, for example, a concern about a private club. A private club is, nice for whoever joins it, but just to give you an example, And lately, the private golf course there called the Classics has 850 members. And each member, people have joined over the years. Now that doesn't mean that 850 people are playing golf at the same time. People come and go, whatever, but that's a huge number, and that's a huge number of cars and traffic that's going to be using Sable Palm Road, which right now, the condition it's in is not going to be able to support it, and I understand you're going to make improvements, but they pay $85,000 a year to join, and then once they join, they pay $10,000 a year for each year that they're playing. So the numbers are huge. We're talking about a big number, not only of people and the impact, but also, in your feasibility study that someone has done to see if this is viable for the purchaser, of course, there's lots of dollar signs. But more than that, I agree with my other fellow neighbors about, being very concerned about the environmental impact and everything else. And what's most concerning to me is that there's still a lot of questions unanswered. There's no limits. There's no limits on the size of the housing. There's no limits on the number of members, saying we don't know. I'm sure there's been numbers tossed around. So I don't know if you want to respond to my thoughts, but that's basically how I feel. That it can easily get very much out of control.
It's an 18-hole golf. I don't know why it's that way. It's an 18-hole golf course, and an 18-hole golf course will only support so many people. Am I better now? Okay. So, we do have an idea of the range of the number of members that we're going to have to support this golf course. We're not prepared to put that number into a zoning document. So we do have an idea of what we need to sell as memberships for the course to be successful. We have that idea. But it's not relevant to the land use decision. The land use decision is based upon an 18-hole golf course and basically the 60 p.m. peak hour trips that are associated with that golf course. Those are the number of members isn't going to change the p.m. peak hour trips and the number of people who are going to play the golf course. But yes, we have those ideas. We have an idea of what the memberships will sell for. We have all those ideas, but they're really not relevant to the decision as a golf course and appropriate use on the property. And anybody else online? Otherwise, I'll wind it up by saying thank you for. Okay, come on up. Ma'am, wait till you get to the mic, we can. I know it's hard.
The comment that one person made saying she's lived here 14 years and she used to be able to go from one street to another and there was only one car, that's totally erroneous. I've lived here 23 years now, and we have traffic, okay? And it's worse now than it was when we moved in, but there's always people on 951. There's always people on 75, and there's always people on 41, okay? You can't stop that. There's a lot of people in this area. And I think these people, some of these people are pulling these numbers out of a hat.
Well,
and if we're that unhappy with everything, there's options.
Well, I can tell you, I moved here in 1990, and none of you had a home where you are right now.
I did.
You did, but you drug walked in.
I did. No.
A lot of you in this room are here because Carter County approved development on lands that were environmentally sensitive. So I also remember hibiscus. My very first high school golf tournament in 1977, I played hibiscus. Am I sad that it's now a public golf course? I mean, a private golf course, sure. But that's their right. They own the land. It's their golf course. So Cutter Canyon has changed a lot since I moved here in 1990, and it's changed some since you all moved here. I can tell you that the people who own this property would love to stay in the citrus business. They're not selling this because they're trying to make a quick buck. They're selling this because basically the citrus industry in Florida is not dead yet, but it's dying. It's a fact of life. It's a sad fact of life, but that's what's happened. We're trying to come up with a reasonable use of the property that respects our neighbors. And I think we've done that with this golf course option. It's a low traffic generator. It's environmentally sensitive. It will not flood you. It will not contaminate your water. It is a good use on the property, and we can respectfully agree to disagree. And with that, I thank you for your time, and I thank you for coming. And again, have a great rest of your evening.